watching you. Okay, that's probably why you're going to lose weight, because everybody's watching you. Besides the $1 million they paid you to lose weight, might be an incentive as well. And so last week, when I started to tell you about my family and our journey, I want to be transparent, but I also know that I'm putting my family at risk for privacy issues. Okay? But I'm going to tell you a story that happened this week. As I began the series last week, I had my tithe and offering check in my pocket. Now my family, every month, if you take what I make and what my wife makes in salary, every month on January the 1st, February 1st, March 1st, every month we are $1,500 in the red every month on the 1st of the month. My wife makes commissions on what she sells, and so that's how we make up the other money. But we are $1,500 upside down on the 1st of every month come every month. And the weird thing is, my pantry is full. I got coats, shoes, and I even got a dog. Because somehow that number gets flipped upside down every month. And I don't know how. But last week, when I was getting ready to put my check in the offering plate, when I was talking about this, this is what happened. We flew to Michigan for Christmas, saw my folks. When we flew back to the airport, went in to start the car won't start. So little Johnny Jumper's got to come and jump my car. Okay, now we had inadvertently left the dome light on, no big deal, for a week. Big deal. Okay, so my battery the next morning won't start again, so my battery's completely shot. So because I'm such a good mechanic, I know where to take it, so I went to Walmart. I go to Walmart, I pull up to the dude outside, and he goes, "What you need?" I said, "I need a battery." And he goes, "Where's your battery?" I said, "Under the hood." You know, like, duh, even I know that. Okay, so he pops the hood, and I don't know why, but the people at Dodge and Chrysler decided that idiots like me don't need to be working on cars. So the battery doesn't sit on the top. The battery's underneath. And you got to take the car apart, literally, including the fender off, to get to the battery. So Walmart can't do it, so I end up at my favorite place, and you guys all know where that is, next to Sonny's Barbecue. Okay? And the guy says, "No problem, we'll put battery in my life." And of course, this is what happened. It wasn't just my battery. It was a whole bunch of other things. And I have these serpentine belts in my car that were fraying. Even I could see. My wife drives 408 in this car. I don't want her to have a breakdown. So for, you know, $60, I'd change the belts, and then I'd put a bulb in a brake light because I want people to stop when she's on 408, you know, stuff like that. $375 that I wasn't counting on January the 3rd. Okay? I'm not counting on this money. That's no big deal. But this last Friday, 2 days ago, was my daughter's 16th birthday. And I needed every nickel I could get to be able to pay for my daughter's birthday party. And so I got to write this check. And I write a check for $375. And on Sunday morning, I'm standing here holding this check in my pocket for $150, which was my tithe and my offering. And I knew that if I put that in the offering plate, that I was going to have about $80 to last me the entire week. Now, I don't know what happens when you go to the gas station and the toll booth and the grocery, but that $80 ain't going to buy me squat. And there was a part of me that while I was talking to you was saying, "Don't you put that in there, dude. You can't make it. You're not going to make it." But I put it in. Okay, this is what happened. On Monday morning, I went to my mailbox. I don't ever check my mail first thing in the morning. I check my mail about twice a week, you know, because I don't get anything now, because I don't get any bills anymore, and nobody writes me a letter. So I don't ever check my mail. $525 I just gave away. And on Monday morning, my wife says, "Tom, I'm expecting a book for the book club. Go check the mailbox." So I go check the mailbox, not of course knowing that it's coming UPS. But anyway, so I go check the mailbox, and in my mailbox were 2 checks. The top check was a refund from the last vendor that I owed in my bill paying program, and they sent me a check for $382.96. The same day, my insurance buddy that I sell insurance for sent me a check. It was for $156.84. So wouldn't you know, it's almost exactly the amount of money that I spent that week without knowing it was coming. Put my tithe in, and God covered my tithe, and He covered my unexpected expense. Coincidence? You may think so. I don't think so at Monday morning at 8 o'clock. In fact, it was before 8 o'clock. And that is a testimony of God taking care of His people. I don't know how it works, but I can tell you this story about my life over and over and over again. When I left the golf business, I took a job back then and I was making nothing. And I can remember a night that Sherry and I, we went to the cupboard and we had nothing to eat. We had nothing. Not even ramen noodles. Now that's bad. When you ain't got ramen noodles, you broke. That is a hard kind of broke too. Because you know, oh, you guys are praying, dear God, just send me some ramen noodles. You know what I'm talking about. 11 cents a pack. We didn't even have those. And Sherry and I went out and walked around our neighborhood, just walking around, talking and praying. Came home and there were groceries sitting on our porch. We had another time where we had no food. And we're sitting there, and we're like, what are we going to do for dinner? What are we going to do for dinner? And there's a knock on the door, and there's a guy named Hoppy Langley, and he went to our church, and he goes, we invited some friends over, and they couldn't make it. We thought you guys might want this. It was steak and potatoes and stuff off the grill. Listen. When you're faithful to God, He'll be extra faithful to you. And when you aren't faithful to God, He'll be faithful to you. Him being faithful to me has got nothing to do with me being faithful to Him. Because He'll always be faithful to me. But when you trust God, and you go, God, this makes no sense. There is no way, dude. Ain't no way. There's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Because it works. And so this week, I was able to buy groceries, and I went and bought some stuff for my daughter and her party. We had a great time. But standing here last week, it didn't look like it was going to be a great time. We're going to be shopping at the dollar store and getting one thing. Sometimes you can get a bag of 12 for $1. That's pretty good. God is faithful, even when I'm not. And He'll be faithful to you. But you got to make it a priority. Because that's an act of faith. That is the act of faith. God, I don't get this. Got my pizza, first piece is yours, dude. You take it. It's crazy. I'm going to tell you this every week for the next 3 weeks. On February the 1st, Super Bowl Sunday. It'll be called Celebration Sunday around here. And what we're going to do on that day is we're going to find out what our tithe potential is. And here's why. The church needs to know that as we move forward, what's kind of our operating budget. And so all we're going to ask you is, Pastor Tom, here's what I made. Here's what my tithe would be. Here's what you can count on for me for this year. Maybe for you that's going to be $300, maybe it's going to be $3,000, maybe it's going to be $20,000. Whatever. That's your number. That's your thing. What we need to know is what is our tithe potential. Because as a church, if our tithe potential, for example, right now our budget for the coming year is a little over $200,000. But if our tithe potential is $800,000, okay? If that's our tithe potential, then what we as a church want to do is to move from 30% to 32 to 35 to 38 to 40 to 45. Because what that means is that more and more of us are becoming financially healthy. It means that we're becoming more solid and more mature. That's what we need to know. Okay? So on that day, everybody's going to sign a little card. Say, this is who I am. My name's John Doe or whatever. I am signing no card. Well, don't sign a card then, but just remember, if you want to buy a car somewhere, you've got to sign a card. Okay? You're promising them. We're not going to come hunt you down come October and go, look, church is broke. We need your 12 bucks. We're not doing that. Okay? But on that day, we just need to find out what our potential is so we can find out what God is up to. On that day, everybody gives something. If you're already tithe, give every week, keep doing it. But if you're a person that maybe you haven't been able to give, maybe you only give $1, $5, $10, whatever, that day everybody gives 20 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever it is God lays on your heart. But on that day, everybody gives something. The second thing is this. You commit this year that you'll honor God with your finances. God, I'm going to do my best to start getting my act together. I'm going to start getting rid of stuff I don't need. I'm going to start doing this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to make you a priority. You'll commit that day to doing that. Number 3, give consistently to God for 90 days. Tithes, offerings, whatever you want to call it, give what you can, do whatever God asks you to do. That's the New Testament way. Okay? You give consistently to God for 90 days. If during that time you have an emergency, you can't make your house payment, your car payment, kid breaks their leg, you need money for a deductible,